Okay, this is kind of Joint Lock 101. It's the introduction to Shanah. All we're going to do is focus on putting pressure on the wrist joint right in this area. This is just more of a way to introduce you to what it feels like as a person who is receiving it. It's very painful, so you don't want to do this hard. You want to do it enough to feel the pain and feel the sensation so you understand how sensitive the joints can be to pressure. The other aspect of this is to introduce you to how to trap somebody who's grabbing you and how you can do a circular motion to counterattack their attack. So it's a way of being able to defend and give you leverage in a defensive situation. So this is a very typical how we train. A lot of times these don't happen in real life on the street, and you'll have to create variations of this. And in your training, you will often see variations of these techniques. So I want to focus on some pretty basic fundamentals here. The first one, if somebody grabs you like this on a cross side, and this can be done on either arm, what you want to do is you want to take your opposite hand. You want to take your thumb and place it on their outside of their index finger. This is important because it prevents them from slipping out. If I just grab here, his finger can slip out and actually counter this technique much more easy. So I want to pinch his finger in. This keeps his wrist tight, his hand tight against me. And then what I do is, just like in our other techniques we've covered, we use our Tiu Se. So I'm still doing this rotation in this way. So I'm taking this. The one thing I'm doing is cupping his finger here, trapping his hand. And instead of doing the Tiu this way, I'm actually rotating my wrist over and grabbing on top. Now this is one really important because it cocks this joint right here, this wrist joint, and it compromises it. I will take these three fingers of the hand that I'm grabbing his forearm with, and what I'm doing is I'm using this as the leverage. I start to pull those in, and you can see what happens is actually causes pain in the joint right here. Okay? He's not going anywhere. I can walk him all the way down to a flat position. Yeah, and then I have it. So this is a very powerful technique, and if you do it very fast, it can be very painful. So if it's one of those and you pop it down, you will actually cause this joint to explode. It actually creates shards. It shatters the joint. So be careful if you decide you want to practice this at home or with your friend or your parents or anybody. You don't want to do this incredibly fast and incredibly hard because you can actually break their wrist. And that's not what we train here, and that's not how we practice. Self-defense only. If your life is in danger or the danger of somebody else or someone else's life is in danger, these are when these techniques can be applied. So again, he grabs the wrist. I am using it as a standard. I take my opposite hand and I press his fingers together, trapping that wrist. I use my Tiu, my elbow comes in. So I'm not pulling forward, I'm not raising my elbow out, I'm bringing it in. So that compromises his wrist. I turn my hand over, grabbing. Okay? What's key, again, are the last three fingers of your hand, because that's where you're going to actually pull in. You're going to press down with those. Okay? And if you do the technique right, you can actually walk this person anywhere you want them to go. Okay? So very, very important. And be careful because you don't want to damage their wrist. Okay? So again, really slow. He grabs my wrist. I take my opposite hand, pinch his forefinger against his other finger. So you see what happens if he grabs me and they spread out, and if he's loosened, he grabs me like this, I'm still taking my finger and I'm shoving those together. Okay? It starts to bend his wrist, his hand and his wrist a little bit. Okay? From there, I'm trapping this. So I have him. I come over to the top, grabbing. This finger stays very loose. These three fingers are what's important. Once you have his hand pinned, you grab and you press down, pressing down with those. See, I'll keep this up. You can see I'm not even using my finger or thumb, and the technique is still effective. So that's key. Okay? Now, one more time, a little more fluid without all the pausing. He grabs. No problem. He grabs. I go in, take it down. That's it. Okay? That's how easy it is. Again, he grabs. That's it. If I actually follow that down, his wrist will snap. Okay, so it's important that if you're going to do these hard and quick like that, that you don't follow through. Let go. because if you follow through and you're doing it hard, you will cause this portion of the joint to explode. Okay? Once again, very, very slowly. They grab. I take my hand, pinch this close, grab, go over the top. Okay? I can grab the whole wrist, but these are the fingers that are important, and I press down. Yes, that's it. Okay?